Oh, where do we even start? Where do we start? Where do we start? Where do we start? Where do we start? Well, I guess we just have to start at the beginning. I mean, shit. I mean, we just gotta start at the beginning, right? I mean, let's get some fire going. Let me roll my sleeves up a little bit. You know, we got this is gonna be a sleeves up kind of conversation. I'm gonna talk about Escape from Tarkov. In the background, you're gonna have some footage of me playing, and this is gonna be a bit of a rant, a Rectorol rant. Which, if you're somebody who's a friend of mine, this is nothing new, but it's not something I really do on my YouTube channel that often. Something I want to do more often. So let's get right into it. Escape from Tarkov, absolutely love it. I enjoy the game when it works. Escape from Tarkov, in my opinion, is multiple games masquerading as one game. Let me break it down. So, when you load into a raid, right, you as the player can go, I'm playing with a squad, I'm playing solo, I'm playing a duo. That changes up how Tarkov plays already. Just how many people you go in with. It's a vastly different game playing with 5 people versus playing by yourself. Number 2 is your time in the game. The more you play in the game, the more you understand there's these alternative play styles. So it's not just go in, get loot, get tasks done, progress. That's not all of Tarkov. That's like surface level Tarkov, right? However, there's people who go into Tarkov with hardcore rule sets. I had my own. There's people who go into Tarkov with the idea of making content. There's people who go into Tarkov with the idea of role-playing without making content. There's people going into Tarkov to test. There's people going into Tarkov who don't care about tasks. They don't care about progression. All they care about is blood, right? They want to come in and just remove as many PMCs from the map and probably be off the map in 10 minutes. And then there's speedrunners. These are people who are... they're just insane to me. Like, I honestly... I have zero idea why anybody would speedrun Tarkov to Kappa. I already have a trouble understanding why anybody would speedrun games in the first place. You know, I really enjoyed platformers when I was younger, but not to that level. You know, for me, I just want to enjoy the game. I want to go in and have fun. I just suck up that there's some bad servers. I suck up that there's some bad players, bad actors. And I suck up that sometimes the game just isn't going to let me win. But where I have trouble with all of this is honestly the information that we get from battle state games. Specifically when you're getting ready to leave the raid. When I go into a Tarkov raid, I don't have a lot of information. And I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly fine. However, when I leave the raid, the stat screen at the end is 90% of it is pointless. And then I can't break those stats down when I leave raid, right? So I go into my overall stat screen, I can't break those stats down. If I'm trying to improve as a player, I would want to see my statistics over a time. I don't care about my overall statistics right now. I care about my statistics, you know, raid 1 versus raid 300. Be useful information, right? So I have to like manually save that information after each raid instead of it being available to me. So number 1, there's just like the information we get in the overall stat screen, 90% of it to me doesn't make sense, doesn't matter. But I do want context, a better form of context. And there's a reason I'm saying the words I want, which I know is a very pretentious, you know, like, oh, entitled Tarkov players. I'm not a Tarkov player. Well, I am. But, like, I don't look at myself as a Tarkov player. It's just a Tarkov player. I play Arma. I played a lot of Battlefield. You know, I play a lot of other games, too. And, you know, I put a lot of hours into League of Legends. At one point, I literally worked a second job just to finance Riot points. Do not recommend. But, you know, live your own life. I did it when I was younger and stupid. You know, I don't just look at myself as a Tarkov player. So I have all these other games to reference. and look at what they're doing right, what Tarkov's doing wrong. And in my experience, what Tarkov is doing most wrong is there's no context. I think about my time playing Battlefield 1942. This was my first foray into competitive gaming, where we played 12-hour matches on the same map on Saturday. And I really enjoyed that because I got a scoreboard for context, I got people's videos for context, I could download the replays, on top of which you also have a map. And I'm not saying that I want Tarkov to have a scoreboard, I'm not saying that I want Tarkov to have a map, I'm not saying that I want Tarkov to have a replay function. What I am saying is that Tarkov has none of these context tools. You have a post-raid stat stream. You have if you are shadow playing or clipping or recording, and you have other people's clips you can get. Not magazines, I'm talking about clips, I want to be very clear. Now, to be fair, from the Tokyo Game Show, all the footage we got of Tarkov Arena, it's actually looking like we might get some kind of post-raid context in the future. The reason I bring this up is because I think about the new player perspective, I think about how people are looking at cheaters, and I'm okay with us maybe not getting, people's names, I'm okay with us not getting like a top-down UAV footage, even though a long time ago I remember Nikita saying, yeah, it'd be cool, we can have like UAV footage of the raid. We want to do some kind of replay system. I haven't heard anything about that in over like a year, 2 years, so it's probably not happening. Or I might have missed a video or missed an update somewhere. God knows it's, it's almost like some people run full-time YouTube channels on what Tarkov is and has not and will be in the future. And just be like a really nice guy giving that information to the community. I enjoy Escape from Tarkov. I do. But it needs context. It needs a post-raid, and it's okay if we wait for the raid to be over for this, like as in all 40 minutes have to have passed and the raid has to be closed down before you get this information. But how many scavs spawn in a raid? How many PMCs loaded into my raid? Why is that a question mark, right? Why can I not get information from BSG about my raid when I leave? This would be a great reason to use like the in-game maps, for example. Like if I give a map to a trader, or I have a map on me and I take it out of raid, maybe it gives me notes on that raid or something, it go, hey, you extracted. Do you want to pay for, you want to give 10,000 rubles for context on the raid or some crap? You can put a little stupid tax on it, I don't care. I'd love some kind of, if they don't give us like a top-down map, I'd love just how many scavs spawned, how many PMCs loaded in. I'd love to know their names and what their loot value was too, it'd be cool. What do I mean by that? If I saw a PMC start a raid, and I go, and it just gave me an end scoreboard that said, there was a USEC that loaded into this raid, you don't know who they are, there was a USEC that loaded into this raid, they were level 52, they started with 500,000 rubles worth of gear on them, they extracted with 1.7 million. And they were on and off the map in 3 minutes. It gives me context as to the raid. Because ultimately I just don't know what happened in Tarkov. What happened in the raid. And I understand that adds a charm to the game, but I'm okay with like no context Tarkov if we have no raid times. If we have map-to-map travel. If we have revive systems. If we have the ability to load a squad member back into raid. Which I know some people go, oh, that's insane, you shouldn't be able to do that. These are literally things Nikita has talked about. Like, this is stuff that sold me on Escape from Tarkov earlier on. And it's stuff I was looking really forward to in the game. But I don't know if this stuff will ever get added. I just know that I'm missing context. And I'd love to have it. Because I've been playing a lot of Arma Reforger lately. It's finally gotten its mod workshop working, so you can actually download mods in an appropriate amount of time and jump on a server and play. I struggled to play that game for a long time because it would take me anywhere from like 30 minutes to 2 hours to get into a server. Biz has been doing great work. They've been very transparent about it. That game has improved miles month after month. Every time they release a patch, there's some quirks, there's some bugs. But I compare that to BSG. They release a lot of patches. There's not a lot of information in a lot of them. And I get it, they're trying to be like this cryptic game, and they're trying to be this hardcore experience, but they also, I don't think, look at the reality of the situation, which is people need to learn and understand their game in order to have fun in it. And it should not solely rest on content creators and on sherpas to teach the game. The game, in a weird way, does teach itself if you actually read through the tasks, and I understand it's not complete. There will be a tutorial for the game eventually. Either way, hope you guys are having fun. Hope you guys are enjoying Tarkov, and if you're not, I hope you're enjoying whatever game you do play. A video game should be enjoyable. It should be challenging. And it should ground you in reality some way. What I mean by that, you should learn something that you can take out of the game and put into real life. With that, thank you for watching. Consider giving me a thumbs up. If you really didn't like it, give me a thumbs down. It's still engagement. Leave a comment. There's a whole beautiful comment section below the video. Type it right now. Type it right now. I'm joking. Thanks. Have fun.